r/AskReddit. If you could tell Donald Trump anything, what would you say? Well, if he doesn't get re-elected, my secret fantasy is to go up to him and just say you're fired. Then walk away into the sunset. This will 100% be a newspaper headline if he doesn't get re-elected. And since I achieved all my goals as president in one term, there was no need for a second. That is one of my favorite jokes in the show, such a throwaway too. What show? I have an agreement with my parents that if I die in Afghanistan and they get a call from him, they'll tell him to go duck himself. Truly love the sentiment. Still don't die. Just play dead. I once saw Joe Biden have sex with a bottle of ketchup while wearing Hulk Hogan's wrestling outfit. Then I'd sit back, relax and wait for the tweet/debate and watch a completely even more absurd situation than usual unfold. Building on this, it was in a hotel in Ukraine. That's what the corruption was all about. And the Russians have it on video. Ask Putin to release all his Hotel 6 tapes. He wouldn't listen, so why bother? The voice in the streets is more than I could ever say. Even those are not getting through to him. For comprehension of simple matters, one needs an open mind. Donald doesn't have one, and his Twitter is the proof. Sun Tzu. Bro, gimme Kanye's number. Oh. His passcode. I'm sorry, who are you again? Bet it would drive him crazy that someone doesn't know him. That's pretty much why he does anything, so everyone will pay attention to him. Deranged idiot. This is brilliant. And so easy. I have this fantasy where Natalie Portman and I start talking at the Vanity Fair Oscars party bar. We exchange a few pleasantries. She asks what I do. I say I loved her in New Girl. She laughs. I get my drink. Well, see ya, I say and walk away. I've got her attention now. How many guys voluntarily leave a conversation with Natalie Portman? She touches her neck as she watches me leave. Later, as the nights dragged on, the coterie of gorgeous narcissists grows increasingly loose. She finds me on the balcony, my bow tie undone, smoking a cigarette. Got a spare? She asks. What's in it for me? I say as I hand her one of my little white ladies. She smiles. Conversation with me, duh. I laugh. What's so funny? She protests. Nothing. It's just. Don't you grow tired of the egos? You get used to it, she says, lighting her cigarette and handing me back the lighter. What would you do if you weren't an actress? I ask. Teaching, I think. And if I was your student, what would I be learning? Discipline, she says quickly, looking up into my eyes, before changing the subject. Where are you from? Bermuda, I say. Oh wow. That's lovely. It's okay, I admit. Not everything is to my liking. What could possibly be not to your liking in Bermuda? She inquires. I don't like sand, I tell her. It's coarse and rough and irritating and it gets everywhere. What the freak did I just read? Lol. It is a copy-pasta steeped in the ancient ways of r/prequel memes. Absolutely nothing. He doesn't care and doesn't listen. I wouldn't waste my breath. I would punch him in his tiny nads, though. I'd tell him grit your teeth, and then kick him down there. I'm lactose intolerant. I would binge on salted caramel frappuccinos until my bowels were on the brink of Mount Vesuvius status, then I would liquid out blast the alphabet into his mouth. We have a winner. That is so oddly specific, there has to be more to this. You have been such an utter disappointment your entire life. Your life's work has been meaningless and no one will remember you or care who you were in 100 years. All the braggadocio in the world won't make up for your small hands, small penis, and general lack of intellect. Your mother was disappointed in you, your father was disappointed in you, and your children only view you as a tool of means through which money and superficial power is extracted. You are nothing, you have always been nothing, and you will always be nothing. You are no one's friend, no one actually cares about you. People laugh at you behind your back and secretly make fun of your small hands and idiocy when you're not there. Everyone knows you're bald and that you paint your face orange. They laugh about it. All of the people you think like you laugh about your bad comb-over and orange face after you leave the room. The world would have been and would be better off without you. Lol, and remember when all those people booed you at the baseball game? Pauses. Wrong. Jesus Christ, dude. He was dead by the 5th line. You have the academic firepower of a water gun. You mind if I borrow this insult one day? Sure. You useless piece of shit. You absolute waste of space and air. You uneducated, ignorant, idiotic dumb swine, you're an absolute embarrassment to humanity and all life as a whole. The magnitude of your failure just now is so indescribably massive that 100 years into the future your name will be used as moniker of evil for heretics. Even if all of humanity put together their collective intelligence, there is no conceivable way they could have thought up a way to fuck up on the unimaginable scale you just did. When Jesus died for our sins, he must not have seen the sacrilegious act we just witnessed you performing, because if he did he would have forsaken humanity long ago so that your birth may have never become reality. After you die, your skeleton will be displayed in a museum after being scientifically researched so that all future generations may learn not to generate your bone structure, because every tiny detail anyone may have in common with you degrades them to a useless piece of trash and a burden to society. No wonder your father questioned whether or not you were truly his son, for you'd have to not be a waste of carbon matter for anyone to love you like a family member. Your birth made it so that mankind is worse off in every way you can possibly imagine, and you have made it so that society can never really recover into a state of organization. Everything has forever fallen into a bewildering chaos, through which unrecognizable core, you can only find misfortune. I would say the apocalypse is upon us, buoy. This is merely the closest word humans have for the sheer scale of horror that is now reality. You have forever condemned everyone you love and know into an eternal state of suffering, worse than any human concept of hell. You are such an unholy being, that if you step within a 100-foot radius of a holy place or a place that has ever been deemed important by anyone, your distorted sacrilegious soul will ruin whatever meaning it ever had beyond repair. You are an idiotic, spitiating, dumb Bart ape and no one has ever loved you. Rhodes Island would have been better off if you'd never joined us. You are a lying, backstabbing, cowardly useless piece of spit and I hate you with every single part of my being. Even this world's finest writers and poets from throughout the ages could never hope to accurately describe the scale on which you just freaked up, and how incredibly idiotic you are. Anyone that believes in any religion out there should now realize that they have been wrong this entire time, for if divine beings were real, they would never have allowed a being such as you to stain the earth and this universe. In the future there will be horror stories made about you, with the scariest part of them being that the reader has to realize that such an indescribable monster actually exists, and that the horrific events from the movie have actually taken place in the same world that they live in right now. You are the absolute embodiment of everything that has ever been wrong on this earth, yet you managed to make it so that that is only a small part of the evil that is your being. Never in the history of mankind has there been anyone that could have predicted such an eldritch abomination, but here you are. It's hard to believe that I am seeing such an incredible failure with my own eyes, but here I am, so unfortunately I cannot deny your existence. Even if I did my very best, my vocabulary is not able to describe the sheer magnitude of the idiotic mistake that is you. Even if time travel someday will be invented, there still would not be a single soul willing to go back in time to before this moment to fix history, because having to witness such incredible horrors if they failed would have too many mental and physical drawbacks that not even the bravest soul in history would be willing to risk it. I cannot imagine the pure dread your mother must have felt when she had to carry a baby for 9 months and then giving birth to such a wretched monster as you. Not a single word of the incoherent, illogical rambling you may be wanting to do to defend yourself or apologize would ever be able to make up for what you just did. The countries of the world would have wanted to make laws preventing such a terrible event like this from ever happening again, but sadly this is not possible since your horrific actions just now have shattered every form of order this world once had, making concepts such as laws irrelevant. Right from the moment I first set my eyes on you, I knew you were an absolute abomination of everything that is wrong with humanity. I was hoping I would have been able to prevent your evil from being released upon this world by tagging along and keeping my eye on you, but it is clear to me now that not even the greatest efforts would have been able to prevent a terrible event in this scale from occurring. You are the worst human being, or even just being in general, that I have ever had the misfortune of witnessing. Events like the infected plague apparently only happened with the goal of teaching humanity to survive such a horrible event as the one you just created, but not even mankind's greatest trials were able to even slightly prepare anyone for the insufferable evil you have just created. If you ever had them, your children would be preemptively killed to protect this universe from the possibility of anyone in your bloodline being even half as bad as you are, except you will never be able to have children, because not a single human being will ever want to come within a 100-mile radius of you and anything you have ever touched. You are a colossal disappointment not only to your parents, but to your ancestors and entire bloodline. The disgusting mistake that you have just made is so incredibly terrible that everyone who would ever be to hear about it would spontaneously feel an indescribable mixture of immense anger, fear and anxiety that emotionally and physically they would never truly be the same ever again. The sheer scale of your mistake, if ever to be materialized, would not only surpass the size of the world, but it would reach far beyond the Lungman. Countless soldiers fought and lost their lives in favor of a chance at a better future for their children. They did not give their lives to have you fuck the world up beyond repair to the degree that you are doing right now. Honestly, even when technology advances and studies on the subject become more and more accurate, I do not think humanity will ever truly be able to understand what your failure actually means for the universe. My hate for you and everything you stand for is so much deeper than the depths of Shambhala that you could probably take the entire Lungman population down there and back up around 20 million times before you would have sunk to the end of my hate.